Several dozen people gathered to mourn lawyer Stanislav Markelov and journalist Anastasia Baburova at the spot where they were murdered. 2 days later, the small crowd has left and the Kremlin nearby remains silent.
The Russian government has absolutely failed to speak out loudly and clearly against this kind of crime. They have failed to protect human rights defenders, journalists, and human rights lawyers who risk their lives for their work.
Like the majority of those who criticise the Russian authorities, Stanislav Markelov was often threatened. This is one of the last anonymous telephone messages he received.
You bastard, you are again dealing with the case of Budanov. Couldn't you find a better way of killing yourself? It was something which didn't bother him that much, it seemed, or he didn't want to be bothered about it. But I think he received threats before. This is definitely not the first time.
The police say they've got their best investigators working to catch those behind the murders, but the victims' relatives already doubt the case will ever be solved. In Russia, contract killings are so common that even the keenest observers are losing count.
If we are talking about contract killings, I think there are at least several hundred each year, and that's the minimum.
Contract killers in Moscow aren't afraid of operating in broad daylight. Here, a Chechen was shot just yards from the government headquarters, and 2 years ago, journalist Anna Politkovskaya was gunned down outside her lift. 2 more murders that have still not been solved. As in the last Politkovskaya case, human rights lawyers said that the murders of Stanislav Markelov and Anastasia Baburova are directly linked to their professional activities.
It is a very clear warning to all human rights defenders to stop their activities. And it is true that in this country, the authorities are presenting them as an enemy.
At Novaya Gazeta, Baburova is the 4th journalist to be assassinated in the last 8 years.
Our president and his prime minister are only busy with gas deals and nothing else. Journalists, lawyers, human rights defenders do not interest them at all.
And Russians too don't seem to care. Almost no one has come out onto the streets in protest over this double murder in the very heart of Moscow.